Hey everybody, welcome back guys. Today, once again, we're going to talk about speed ring style optics. And the particular one I'm going to show you guys is the Lumix speed ring from Killer Instinct. And what I want to show you is a really simple way to dial these in. One where you don't need a chronograph. You can basically ignore the numbers that are on the dial. I'm honestly disappointed I didn't show you guys this or really, I guess, figure this out sooner. But it's really quick, it's really easy, and it's going to get you dialed in super fast. So stay tuned. All right, guys, step one is going to be dialing in that first aiming point. And now, disclaimer two on this video, this type of fast and easy calibration method, this is best with the speed ring style optics where the reticle, the first aiming point, is in the very center of the reticle. So that would be like my Killer Instinct Lumix or my other, like my Killer Instinct Max View MV36, where the very first aiming point, like the 20 or 30 yard aiming point, is dead center in that optic. If you've got a different style one, this is going to be a little trickier, but a lot of the speed ring style reticles, they do have that first aiming point dead center in the optic. And you're going to sight that in at whatever the instruction manual says. For the Lumix, it would be like the tip of the triangle is your 20 yard, and then the center of the triangle is your 30 yard. And really, with most modern crossbows, your 20 and 30 yard aiming points are going to be darn near the same. So after you get that particular optic dialed in the center of the reticle at whatever it is, 20 or 30 yards, using your windage and elevation adjustments, because the center of the reticle is not going to change as you spin that dial and vary the magnification. So your initial calibration for that top aiming point uses windage and elevation. Once you've got that set, now I'm going to move this bag back to, let's say, 50 yards. And I'm going to put an aiming point right up here at the top of my target. And I'm going to shoot that same very first aiming point at this, knowing that my arrow is going to drop. So let me set up that aiming point and we'll go back to an optic that I've got set up and I'll show you the rest of this demo. All right, hopefully my phone plays nice here looking through the Killer Instinct Lumix speed ring. So let's just pretend again, you guys, that I've got this already dialed in at, for this particular optic, 30 yards. So remember, tip of the triangle on this one is your 20, center of the triangle is your 30. And so I dialed it in with my windage and elevation, and now I've backed my target up to something like 50 yards. And like I'd said before, what I'm gonna do is I'm still gonna use that triangle. And I apologize if I'm shaky, but I'm still gonna use that triangle. And hopefully you guys can see the different colors of tape there on my target. So there is a green piece of tape right here at the top of my target. That's what I'm going to aim at. And I'm going to aim at the top there at that green area with that, 20, 30 yard triangle. And you can start with your optic, like your speed ring dial setting, at whatever it is that you want. I've got this right now. And what I would normally do is I like to start on just higher magnification just so I can see my target a little bit better. So right now this is at the 450 feet per second, mark, or the 5x magnification. So I'm going to take a shot right there, aiming at the top green area. And let's say my arrow hits where you guys see that pink tape. Now on the Lumix, the 20-30 is the triangle. The next circular aiming point, that's your 40 yard aiming point. And then the second circular one, the one that's kind of like the first one with the lines, like the separate lines on it, that second circle, that's my 50. So if we go back to my target here, my 50 at that 450 feet per second spot on the dial is right on the bullseye, and I'm lower than that. So what I got to do is I got to dial the speed down, and watch. As we do this, you'll see that triangle is going to stay right on my green aiming point, and I can simply turn the dial until that second circular aiming point is dead on that pink tape representing our arrow. And then right there, for your bow, for your arrow setup, this particular optic should be calibrated. Obviously, you're going to want to take some other shots. You're probably going to want to check your 40. You're probably going to want to check some of those other aiming points just to make sure, and maybe make some small tweaks. But right there, without knowing the speed of the bow and the particular arrow setup, we just calibrated that from 30 to 50 yards, and those subsequent aiming points should fall in if the reticle is designed correctly. Again, the easiest way to calibrate these is where your first aiming point is in the very center of your optic. That makes this process so much easier. You don't have to start at like the factory speed rating for your bow on the dial. You don't have to have a chronograph. Honestly, a lot of times the numbers on the optic itself are not 100% accurate. They're good starting points, but they're not perfect. But this method of I'm aiming with the very center of my reticle that does not change. I'm taking a shot and now I'm calibrating it exactly to that shot. This is the method that is going to dial you guys in fast, easy, and get you set up with a really accurate crossbow setup. That is definitely an easier way to dial these optics in versus, you know, chasing speeds or chronographing things, or I don't know, messing with that dial a whole bunch. Sorry I didn't think of this earlier. Just turn it until it matches exactly where your arrow hit at that particular distance, and then check the rest of them. Maybe you got to make some little tweaks here and there, but that really is the fastest way to dial one of these speed rings in. And hey, you guys, if you like this video and you want some more speed ring related stuff, go ahead and check this video out right here. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Be safe. God bless. And remember, be a sportsman, make a sportsman.